Can everybody hear me? Doesn't want to cooperate. Somebody fix my stand.
There you go.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Hello.
Hi.
First, I would like to thank, where did she go? The Black History Month Committee for asking me to come and speak at this event. I'm truly honored to be here. To all of you, I would like to bid you greetings from my home state of Kentucky, which is where I've been all of my life, with the exception of the few years I was at Vanderbilt. From a small town called Paducah, and it is known as the quilt capital of the world. And I can't quilt though. Don't ask me to make you something for your bed in your dorm rooms. I can't do it. The best I did was a 9-piece quilt, and it was for my Barbie bed. So that was as far as I got with doing anything quilt related. But every year we're used to seeing all of it. I know it's sad, but it's my home, and I love it. So, and a huge thank you to everyone who has helped me make this transition into becoming a gator. I'm very excited about this. And I'd especially like to thank my IBC family. Where y'all at? You're all over the place. That's so great. Okay. But it's important for me to honor this, and for you to know that I don't stand up here in this space alone. So I'd like to call on my ancestors and my spirits that guide me, and that would be those that have passed and those that are still here with me. So I would like to call on my grandparents who literally saved my life. I call on my parents as well as my brother, who is my role model. I call on the Smith, Turner, and Price families, for without blood, we truly are nothing. My childhood mentors, my professional mentors, my closest friends, my WKU family, my sorority sisters and fraternity brothers, my spiritual advisors, my mentees, and even my heartbreaks. Because you see, it's important that I name all of these people, because one by one, I can tell you the impact that each one of them has had on my life and how that has made me into the woman that I am today. More than anything else, I love myself better than I expect anyone else to, and it's because of them that I learned that love for myself. And I also call on them because oftentimes we get so focused on our present that we forget the pieces of our past that help shape us for our future. Now, there's one person that I do want to mention that is truly never far from me. And her name is Cheryl, and I met Cheryl Williamson about 3 years ago through another student who said that I needed to meet her because she needed my guidance. Cheryl had been expelled from my institution, from Western Kentucky University, the previous semester because she was involved in this huge fight that had happened on our campus. They called CNN, SWAT, state troopers, everybody. I mean, what you can't say on a college campus is somebody's got a gun. It was truly just a fight. Started 4 days prior because somebody pushed somebody in the club, go figure. So, needless to say, Cheryl was about that life. So, she was a bully on campus, right? And she wouldn't attend her classes, and I mean, she just couldn't let go of her past life. And that learned behavior that some of us have of always just having to fight for everything. So the year that she was expelled, she realized that she did want better for herself and that she was going to do whatever she could to get back into school, and that's exactly what she did. So she came back under the stipulation that she had to stay out of trouble and was recommended to participate in a women's enhancement program that I had called Project Class. Now, I had no idea what I was getting myself into with Cheryl. I just knew of her reputation, and I knew that she would challenge everything that I knew as a professional. But we took this journey together, and over time, I saw her begin to shed this exterior and this wall that she had put up around herself. And in my office, we agreed to just be raw and just be real with each other. And so she began to reveal her insecurities to me, and she shared her tears, and she shared her dreams and her goals and the burden that several of us have of carrying our families on our shoulders, you know? And we worked through that. And in that process, we found her voice. And so these past 3 years, I've watched her grow into this just amazing phenomenal, inspirational woman, and her passion was in fashion and design, and Cheryl has a style that, I mean, nobody can match. And she designed clothing for various fashion shows on campus, and she styled all of her friends, and everybody went to her when they wanted to know what was going to be the new trend for the upcoming season. She became active on campus, and she entered the Miss Omega pageant, and she got first runner-up and got active on campus, and she started excelling in her classes, and she even paid her own way through school. See, she lost her financial aid because of her academics from the beginning, so during her winter and summer breaks, she hustled and she worked hard, and so she paid out of pocket to be able to come to Western. Now, I don't know about you, but see, I probably would have gave up and chose an easier path. You know, I could have went to a community college, or I would have tried something else. I probably would have thought college wasn't for me, but that just wasn't what Cheryl saw for herself. And she had something to prove, not only to herself, but to everybody around her that had started doubting her and what she was capable of doing. And so she recognized this change within herself. And so then she knew that she had to start paying it forward. And so I don't think there's a black person on Western Kentucky University's campus that did not know her or know of her. And no one has ever had anything bad to say about her despite how she began. And I mean, she just had one of the biggest hearts, and she always had something inspirational or motivational to say to everybody. And I mean, even myself, I found out I was diabetic about 6 months ago, so I hope nobody was paying attention to what I was eating or the fact that I drank that lemonade that had all that sugar in it. And she, so if I pass out of this, somebody give me an insulin shot. So she, don't really. And so she would call or text me at least twice a week, just to make sure that I was taking my medicine like I was supposed to and that I was eating healthy, because she didn't play. So what I didn't want to do was upset Cheryl. And so I mean, but that's just who she was. And it was so natural for her. And before the semester ended, I saw her at an event, and she ran up to me so excited because for the first time she was going to end her semester with all A's and B's, and that might not seem like a lot to you, but for someone who had been struggling for 3 years just to make it, that's huge. And so we were pumped together at this event, yelling, and everybody's like, what are they doing? But this was a long time coming, and she was set to graduate in May of this year. And unfortunately, that was the last conversation that I was to ever have with Cheryl. Over the Thanksgiving holiday, she went home. Her home is Louisville, Kentucky, and she was murdered outside of a nightclub. Murdered by a guy, and I'll never call him a man, because no man should ever shoot a woman, but he shot her because she rejected him in the club earlier that evening. And so him and some of his friends jumped her and shot her. So as an administrator, receiving that phone call from her best friend at 4 a.m. in the morning is probably the hardest phone call that I've ever had to endure. And it's something about having students who you've watched grow, not just the ones that you see going by. I mean, this is somebody that I knew intimately. I knew her. Didn't have to talk to her every day. I knew what was going on with her all the time. And to see that her life was taken away so soon, it's just been a lot. So bear with me as I get through this. It's still raw for me. So in retrospect, I say that her life was taken too soon, but it really wasn't. And I say that because Cheryl's life served its purpose. And it was to be a message to all of us, not just those of us that knew her, but to all of us that are in this room really. See, her screen name on Facebook is Destined for Greatness. I know how y'all like to change your names up. Nobody wants to be found by your future employers, but we can still find you. I do know that, right? Destined for Greatness. Her Twitter name, Have Hope. Have hope. So those are the two words that have just been the biggest inspiration to get all of us through this and through these past couple months, because see, she already left a message in terms of what we need to do to move forward. So the speech isn't going to be about sadness or oppression or about why we need to be mad about what we don't have here. This is about celebrating. This is about having hope and being proud of ourselves. Because you see, My black is beautiful. And I'm not talking about my skin tone. See, to me, being black is a state of mind. There's no blueprint for us. There's no book that you can buy that says if you do X, Y, and Z, then you get your black card. I haven't found it yet. There's no outline that says if you participate in 5 events at the IBC, you join 4 black student organizations, you take 3 African American studies classes, you grow your hair natural and grow out your dreads for about 2 years, and then you voted for Barack Obama at least once, and then all of a sudden we're going to give you your blackness. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that way, guys. And see, being black and celebrating it is just the art of being in love with yourself, whoever you are, and being unapologetic about it. Now, I think it was Erykah Badu. It was. Erykah Badu said, "Who gave you permission to rearrange me?" Certainly not me. Y'all wanted me to sing it? Ask my cat. No. Okay, so, and besides that though, really, who has the authority to say who's black or what's black enough? What we need to do is take time for self-discovery, and I want you to determine what black is for you. So we have to learn to appreciate ourselves before we can expect anyone else to appreciate us and our heritage. Because how can you expect someone to love something that you don't love yourself? So let's remember, have hope. Now this is going to lead me to my next point. The first step was learning how to love ourselves and our skin and its many beautiful hues and personalities, and now understand that you can't let anyone take this joy from you. Nothing in our history tells us that we should be ashamed, defeated, or depressed. Despite everything, we have always persevered. We aren't going anywhere. I think that's established. So take your place and stand your ground on your beliefs. And it was Frederick Douglass who said, "We shall never leave you. We are here." To imagine that we should ever be eradicated is absurd and ridiculous. We can be modified, changed, and assimilated, but never extinguished. This is our country, and the question for the philosophers and the statesmen of the land ought to be, what principle should dictate the policy of the nation toward us? So my question to you is, why are you mad? Statistically, blacks have higher self-esteem than any other race. This is because our families have constantly affirmed to us, you are beautiful. You can do whatever you want to do. You can be whatever you want to be. Whether use is smart, use is kind, use is important. And if no one has ever said that to you, let me be the first one to tell you that you are beautiful. That you can be whatever you want to be. It's no mistake that you're here. So embrace it. I mean, it's not until we leave the sanctuaries of our homes and our communities that someone makes us question our worth. And again, this is why you need to stay connected to your past so that it can help you build this future. And if you remember the past, you remember someone always telling you that. And so then it doesn't matter when you go out and someone tells you something different, because your foundation was already laid. So again, I ask you, what do you have to be ashamed about? Who told you that it wasn't okay to be proud? Now, I'm from Kentucky, right? So I'm Southern. So like right now, my Southernness is telling me I won't take off my heels because I'm barefoot all the time. I'm very stereotypical. But part of that Southernness has taught me that when I see people, especially my people, when we're walking around, I smile and I nod and acknowledge when I walk past somebody. The month that I've been on this campus, I can probably count on 3 fingers how many of you all have done that since I've been on this campus. And see, to me, that's something deeper than that, because I don't understand why y'all walking by me with your head down like I'm the problem. I ain't do nothing. modesty is when you see somebody, they don't even have to look like you or me. You acknowledge them. Because that's a bigger issue to me as to why you feel like you need to keep your head down. There's no reason for that. So when y'all see me, everybody take a mental snapshot, pull out your phones, whatever you need to do, take a picture of my face. Because when you see it on campus, I need you to stop and acknowledge me, because more than likely, if you lift your head up off the sidewalk and take those earplugs out your ears, you recognize that I'm already looking at you and smiling. There's no reason. I don't want nothing from you. I'm just happy that you're here. I'm happy to be here. It doesn't matter what else is going on, just smile. And I'm not telling you to ignore anything that's been going on around you, because I mean, there's some real stuff that's going on here, but the thing is you don't ever let anything defeat you. You cannot win the war when you don't believe in it. So have hope. So Ms. B, considering everything that's been happening, how do you expect me to still smile and act like I'm happy to be a student here at UF? So I better explain that to you. See, we were slaves for over 200 years, with the first slave arriving in Virginia in 1619. Laws were derived to keep us in servitude legally until the passing of the Emancipation Proclamation in 1865. And even then, the South enacted black codes, and later in the 19th century, Jim Crow laws. We fought in every major U.S. war, but it was not until 1948 that the Army officially became integrated. We were not viewed as human. We couldn't vote. We couldn't eat where we wanted, sit where we wanted, live where we wanted. We were murdered, jailed, lynched, and degraded. But guess what? Despite being forced into this country, we taught ourselves how to speak this language, how to read, how to write, how to cook. We acclimated ourselves to this foreign country. And it is estimated that Harriet Tubman saved over 100,000 slaves through the Underground Railroad. We created our own schools and universities and fraternal organizations, and we even invented things to make the work that they asked us to do easier. We established organizations such as the NAACP, CORE, SCLC, Black Panthers, and UNIA to unite as a community. We staged sit-ins, boycotts, marches, and protests whenever we were denied the same rights as others. And from 1945 to 1958, over 80 students applied to the University of Florida and were denied, but in 2013, there are over 3,000 of you. So your ancestors did all that work so that the 3,000 of you can sit here and smile. So you smile because of the accomplishments that have been made to get you to where you are now. You smile because you know that justice and equality doesn't happen when it should, but you come from a race of people that understand that giving up is just not an option, and after all, the blood of royal distinction runs through your veins. So embrace it. And it is that legacy that has allowed us to endure these past 400 years in America. And if nothing else, you smile so that no one knows that you feel defeated. Behind my smile is a mission to live each day and to leave it better than I entered it. So how do you spend your days? Complaining or working toward action? So today we not only celebrate our history and how far we have come, but we also celebrate ourselves. Make this pledge to yourself to honor Black history and culture for more than 28 days. Let's try 365 and tell me how that affects your life. Yeah, and let's be clear on this myth on Black History Month too. And I saw that there's a little sign up here, so let's go into details. I don't know if everybody read it. They did not give us the shortest month of the year. We started this tradition ourselves, we as in Black people. The history of Black History Month begins with Carter G. Woodson, the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, and the men of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, who started Negro History and Literature Week. It was celebrated in February because those are the months that President Lincoln and Frederick Douglass were born. And at that time, Black communities celebrated their birthdays since their passing. So it was not until 1976 that it became institutionalized and shifted from a week to a month of celebrating the achievement of blacks in America. So let me tell you something. Sometimes we damage ourselves by not going out and knowing our own history. So in this moment, let's reflect a little bit. As I look through my proverbial lenses and look at my life and those that influenced me and those that I influenced, I'm humbled to be a part of such a rich lineage. Today marks the beginning of a national observance of this. Yes, the country only recognizes it for 28 days out of the year. Now, personally, I think that my birthday should be a national holiday, but sadly, I can only get my friends to help commemorate it once a year. But I celebrate my life daily. So why can't you celebrate Black history every day? As college students, you need to understand that your education extends beyond the classroom. Like many of you, I went to a school where the only thing I knew about Black history was Martin Luther King Jr. But at some point, we have to step beyond the excuses and teach ourselves and each other. And in the age of social media, I can't give you too much leeway anymore with that. You have information at your fingertips, literally. And as I'm wrapping up, I want us to go back to the beginning. Have hope. Believe that things will evolve. And as our children grow up, they will be able to reflect on the work that you've done, just like we're able to look at the work of our parents and our grandparents. Cheryl believed that no didn't exist, and she worked hard at breaking barriers that seemed impossible. So for Cheryl and her memory, this is a fallen sister of ours, I want us to all believe in that and to work by any means necessary to visualize and create the life that we know is possible for us at UF and our society as a whole. Okay, so I need everybody to do me a favor right quick. Everybody get your phones out. Most of y'all been texting the whole time I've been talking anyways. Everybody pull them out and get them up in the air for me. It's like 200 of y'all. I should see y'all kind of phones waving in the air. Now, what I need you to do is go to your Twitter accounts, because most of y'all got these smartphones, so I know you got Twitter somewhere attached to it. And I need you to write something. And I need you to use the hashtag #HaveHope. I need you to tell everybody that follows you that you believe in this. I need you to tell me that you believe in this for Cheryl. I need you to tell her friends and family that her death will never be in vain. Because it's time for us to learn how to have hope. And it's time for us to prove that we believe in it. Thank you.